truth is an irony, just like animal farm. Justice mean inequity, so who go say the truth? Who go say the truth? Christian can say silence, Islamic leaders silence, kings and queens silence, traditional leaders silence. So who go say the truth? We are them go so confused call. Now by area why no better. We are them go so confused call. One guy so yeah why no better. Who go say the truth? Who go say the truth? Oh, he did not see what I see so. Na your friend na your kamasem. Oni papi obeka na sembia. So anti wankwa obechi wetu. Everybody was afraid. And unti na nantuma kotiti agenai. Once my boy dumping one anachi. But who go tell the truth? Nanai or say me. Nanso bien person beka wasam because everybody is afraid.
One key aspect of the free primary health care is preventive, to identify the illness and get early treatment before it develops into something else. And so a major part of the free primary health care is the health screening aspect. And we are encouraging that when we roll out the free primary health care, our traditional leaders and our religious leaders will help us to mobilize their communities. At least every Ghanaian must be screened once a year. The free primary health care complements the national health insurance. And so at that level, it's free of charge. You go, the screening, everything is free of charge. If it's a basic illness like malaria, your CHIPS compound will have the medication for malaria. If it's a basic illness like cholera, your health compound, CHIPS compound or your health kiosk will have the basic drugs for you. If it is a respiratory illness that requires cough mixture or something, you get it at your CHIPS compound. But if they take your blood sugar and your blood sugar is high, you can change it with diet, but if it persists, then they will have to refer you to the district level. And at the district level, you use your national health insurance card to get the treatment and the drugs that you require. And so we also have the health kiosks. So in areas where we don't have CHIPS compounds, we'll come and put the health kiosk. The health kiosk is like a CHIPS compound. It's a containerized CHIPS compound. And so we'll put them in areas that are underserved. Now, as the minister said, we're starting with 150 districts. And we'll be very careful in selecting the 150 districts. These are districts that are underserved when it comes to healthcare. So we are prioritizing them in the beginning of implementation. So we're going to restart the Onuador program, and we'll deploy the mobile clinics to the districts. And so they will complement the work of the free primary health care. They would go into the districts, they would have outpatients department, everything, and they'll provide treatment at that level. It is my honor and privilege, with the powers vested in me as President of the Republic of Ghana, to officially declare the free primary health care policy duly launched. Thank you.
Well, good evening and welcome to MyView Show here live on TodayGhanaNews TV, where on Monday evenings you are sure to find your favorite socio-political talk show here on TodayGhanaNews TV, and where we do well every evening, Monday evening, to give you the best there is to serve, and to bring you the best people they are to be able to deal with the questions that agitate you and agitate your minds. And today is going to be nothing different. Now, for a lot of people, a lot of Ghanaians, when they fall sick, the question arises as to whether to skip hospital or to go, or if they are to go, to start counting the few pesos that they have as to whether they can cure it or not. Now, is this a situation that people are supposed to be in? For those who are in this situation, is this ideal? Well, they may be help, they might be help on the way, or so it may seem. Is they really help, or this is just one of those other things? As we heard from the introduction from the president, there seem to be something that is brewing, or it might be something that's actually in place. That is the free, how do you call that, healthcare policy that's been introduced to complement the health insurance system. Now, like we see on this show, mostly we don't have the answers. What we have are questions that we have that we ask on your behalf. But what we do is to bring people who are well versed to be able to answer those questions. But before we go and bring and invite our guest for today's show, let's welcome our regular viewers and listeners who have made time to join us this evening. So we would like to say a very warm welcome to our viewers on Sakina Information Center in Tatali. Also, a warm welcome to our listeners on Adelemai Information Center. Also, we would like to say a very warm welcome to our listeners on the King's Radio in Accra and those who are watching us on High FM 3.7 in Achimima in this region. Also, for all those who are watching us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch, you are warmly welcome. Now, for today's show, like we said, we bring the best people who are well versed able to answer your questions. And today, like we said, there's nothing different. For today's show on the president or the government's free primary health care program, we are fortunate to be joined by none other than Miss Harriet Hammond. Miss Hammond is the focal person at the ministry in charge of the free primary health care program that's been launched by the government. Miss Hammond, good evening to you.
Hello, good evening.
And how are you doing?
I'm fine by God's grace. Yourself?
Well, we can't complain. But apparently you may not be complaining, but it seems a lot of Ghanaians are complaining. Scanning through the airwaves today, lots of Ghanaians are complaining about Doomsaw back online. Are you also enduring it, or you are enjoying it?
I haven't experienced doom so in my area. I mean, I see it online, but to be very honest, I haven't experienced it personally. So
Okay.
I don't know if maybe it's a session that is experiencing some challenges or something. But
Hmm.
my area, I've been around Kokomemle and I've been around Spintex for a while, but I haven't experienced any doom so at any place.
Well, maybe you are one of the fortunate ones who happen to.
And maybe it is probably being exaggerated.
Well, it's either of the two. It's
Yes.
either being exaggerated, or you're one of the lucky ones. Either ways,
No, I'm
we
sure
are
it's exaggerated because the,
oh,
the the electricity company of Ghana has continuously released communicate to that effect,
mhm,
communicating about the challenges they went through, the fire burning and all that. So it's a one-off thing. I mean, since we are working with machines and systems, definitely at a point we can face hitches here and there.
mm,
And it's acceptable. I mean, if you say we want to make this a long term or we want to sound as though it's been bad for a very long time, that wouldn't be fair to the ministry and it won't be fair to the government as well. So I'm
mm.
also on behalf of the Electricity Company of Ghana pleading with Ghanaians to have some little patience whilst they fix the challenges they are going through. And I can tell you for a fact, it's not universal. It's not universal. I haven't experienced it, so I wouldn't be able to even say how bad it is or what's actually going on.
All
Yes.
right, that's fair. I think that's about a fair and accurate representation of the situation on the ground.
Yes.
Now, you are at the Ministry of Health, right?
Yes.
Um, what's your assessment of the state of the ministry, or let's broaden a little, let's say the state of affairs of the health sector in government in Ghana in the past, let's say close to 1.5 years since the NDC party took over?
Yes, before I continue, let me say a special good evening to your audience and all those who have taken time out to join the show and listen to us. And when it comes to do with the health sector, I can say for a fact that the NDC government is really, really performing wonderfully well in that sector. You would see a very massive transformation going on in the sector. When we took power, I mean, in the beginning there were little hitches here and there, but it's obvious that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama didn't come to joke when it comes to health. So if you observe the health sector from, let me come to a layman's point of view, we might not really understand, but for a health worker or for someone who is in the health system, you see that the reform is going on in stages, right? It's not just going on in one sector. From infrastructure, we are doing an infrastructural boost, making sure we have the logistics in place, the things to work with, right? And then we come to the people themselves, the staff, the staff strength of the health sector. We had issues about doctors refusing to go to the rural communities and measures being put in place to make sure that we have skills in different sectors. There are lots of training going on here and there. And then in management of patient health care, as we speak right now, there's a boost in NHIA renewal cards, making sure every Ghanaian has a NHIA. And then we have the Ghana Medical Trust Fund in the system as well. That is there to see patients with non-communicable diseases and terminal conditions, especially the cancers, the neurological conditions, endocrine conditions, and all that. And then now we have the free primary health care on board, which is focuses on prevention. So you see that we are taking it step by step from infrastructure, making sure the system is working well. We have the right things in place, the right skill dispersed over the country, making sure there's equity in the skill sets that we have. That's also on board. Now we are going into prevention, making sure that we reduce the number of Ghanaians actually going down with terminal conditions or severe conditions that would need more money to manage. We have that in place, making sure the NHIA is working adequately by ensuring that more people are renewing. There's another special part of it that I think is not yet loud enough. Is going to campuses to encourage the young generation to enroll on the NHIA. So you in that way we are preparing them towards coming in for healthcare on time instead of delaying and making and waiting till it becomes a complication or is bad before they report. Then after that, we have the Ghana Medical Trust Fund as well. For those who have delayed and they have terminal conditions, NCDs, non-communicable diseases that need support to prevent or reduce the mortality rate in the country. So with all these systems in place, and trust me, it means that our health system is about to undergo a total transformation. And not forgetting that the Agenda 111 hospital that the previous government kept speaking about, the NDC government has taken it upon themselves to try as much as possible to complete most of the hospitals. I mean, NDC is known for infrastructure. It's no news, right? We know when it has to do with hospitals and all that, we actually build without even talking about it. We don't make noise. It's normal. But we are having all those systems in place to make sure that every Ghanaian has affordable access to healthcare, and then reduction of mortality, especially sudden death among young people, is reduced significantly. So I
Well,
think we are doing very well. We have done wonderfully well.
well, from everything that you have said, it does appear that your plate is full at the ministry. doing a lot of things. You are all over the place. And as if that is not enough, I think sometime last week, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah,
the president went to launch this free primary healthcare program. For those
exactly.
for those who are listening to us who are hearing about this for the first time, or probably heard it a week ago, but they think of and do not understand what it's about. What is this program about?
Yes, thank you very much once again. So, free primary healthcare, like the name goes, when we say primary healthcare, is the basic things that we need in healthcare system. When you walk into a hospital as a first timer, if you are not well, definitely they will check your vital signs. That's one of the first things they will check. When I say vital signs, your BP, your temperature, your pulse. These three basic things are always taken, right? And then for sugar levels, they'll check your sugar levels to see at what level is it at. So this is the basic care that you receive immediately you walk into any facility before they go into details where they'll do the laboratory investigations to see whatever condition you came with, because they'll address the symptoms that you have come with first. We want to make sure that this basic care that you receive is actually free, right? You don't have to wait till you have your NHI card with you, or you gather some money before you actually go to the hospital for this basic care. People who come to the hospital with different symptoms, apart from it being an emergency. An emergency is an emergency. That cannot wait. But maybe probably basic symptoms like a headache or general malaise, feeling weak and all that, you actually walk into the hospital to say, okay, I want to just check. I have a headache. It's been persistent. It could be as a result of a high blood pressure. You could never tell. So that's one part of it. Walking into the facility to receive the care that you need with just your Ghana card. And the second one is where the ministry has realized that, look, there are people who even have their NHIE, they have their Ghana card, they have everything. But as Ghanaians as we can be, everyone is busy hustling and bustling, trying to make ends meet. Okay. So today they wake up with a headache. They say, oh, I'm so tired. I feel stressed. So let me rest, okay? Tomorrow I have to meet this person. Tomorrow I'll go to the hospital next week. And next week comes and there's another meeting again. So you are actually moving round the clock. So it's not like you don't want to come, right? But your own activities and your own schedule is not giving you the opportunity to walk into a hospital. Free primary healthcare is also saying that we would meet you at where you work, or we would make um, available points, this we call kiosks, at
Mhm.
various points, that if you don't have access to the hospital at that time, or you don't have the time, along your way you would come across them. Or if you're at the marketplace, you are selling, we come to you and make sure we check. Hey, we are checking your BPs. These are basic things. They are not things that will cost you anything. It's free, basic. There's nothing wrong in just checking your blood pressure or your sugar levels or your BMI. Okay, a lot of Ghanaians have body mass index issues, obesity here and there. So we check and we are able to say, okay, this is why your headache has been persistent. Or we check and realize that, oh, your BP is a bit too high. Okay, so rest for a while. There are kiosks there. You check again. That's through even that check one or two can prompt the person to know that, oh, I'm getting hypertensive. And you see, when you meet people in that vulnerable state and you speak to them, they actually listen, and then they are compelled to move to the health facility where they will be able to receive the necessary care. And at that point, we encourage them that, okay, you need to get an NHI card so that when you get to the health facility, you get the card that you need. That's why we say the free primary health care is here to supplement the national health insurance card, so that the health care will be continuous, and then we can work more of prevention, everything preventive care instead of reactive care. So that's
Good.
what free primary health care is basically about.
Yeah, good. It's good you said it's here to supplement, the national insurance scheme. Now,
Yes.
that means that it's not replacing it. The national
It's
health
not.
insurance scheme is
It's
not
not.
going anywhere.
No, no,
So,
no, no.
so what is it? that is now free, that wasn't free before, under the how do you call it, the free primary health program? What is it that when people walk in, they can be assured and guaranteed that for this they are good, they are paying nothing for it?
Yes, so like I said, the basic healthcare. So previously, before you even immediately you walk into a hospital, right? You have to get your folder, and then we have the online system games where you have to make sure you are enrolled to it, make sure your NHI is active, and then they can deduct from that to take care of you and all that. Now, you don't need the NHIE. You don't necessarily need to go to the hospital to get a folder before you access the free basic care. So the free basic care, like I said earlier on, is getting your BP checked, your sugar levels checked, your BMI checked. So you can just go in and then say, oh, I want to have my blood pressure checked without anyone asking you, where's your NHI? What is wrong with you? Why do you have to come if there's nothing wrong with you? You see, we agree that now some things are basic, so you don't have to panic in order to go to the hospital. Yes, I would agree that things like this, blood pressure and BMI and things, you see some pharmacy around checking here and there, right? But there are people who would still go there, and you have to pay for it. And then when you even check your blood pressure at the pharmacy and there's a problem with it, the pharmacist might not be able to diagnose and begin treatment, right? But when you casually walk to the facility near you and you get it checked and there's a suspicion of hypertension, then you could immediately activate the usage of your NHI. You might have gone there with the intention of receiving the free primary health care.
Hello, Miss Hammond, do we have you? Well, it does appear as though we've had a short interruption uh, with the line through to Miss Hammond. If you have just joined us, this Today Ghana News TV, and this evening we are discussing Ghana's newly launched free this thing, how do you call that, healthcare that's not free per se, but the how do you call that, the free primary healthcare program that's been launched by the government, the NDC government. And if you've been listening to the show for quite a while, Miss Hammond, who is the focal person for the program at the ministry, was taking us through the program to try to explain to us which parts, what is free and what is not free, and what to expect once we get to our health centers. So, Ms. Hammond, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
All right, yeah. So I think, yeah, you were running up on the point of, what is free and what is not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So is that's clear, right?
Right. Yeah. So just let's clarify this so that people can have very clear answers to this moving forward. So for people who are on the health insurance scheme, now that we have free primary healthcare program, should they take themselves off the national health insurance because we have already have free? And for those who are not on it, should they still get on it because now we have something else? What should people do?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, there's actually a boost of renewal of NHI card. And then from the beginning of my presentation, I indicated that we've moved from the free to management to even further management of terminal conditions with the Ghana Medical Trust Fund. So for the basic health care, it's what we are referring to as free, right? But you need your NHI card to continue care in case there's an issue with you that has been identified from the basic health care. Like I said, the basic ones are just the blood pressure, the BP checking, the counseling, the mental health counseling, or any form of counseling you need, education and all that. Those are all very free because, we are dealing with human institutions. So whilst they are checking those basic things, you could ask any question. and they'll educate you on it. But however, if you need a specialist care or an advanced care, let's say you are seeing a patient and then you realize the patient is anemic, okay,
Mhm.
whilst you are giving that basic care that is needed, definitely you begin to educate the patient on their nutrition, isn't it? The kind of food that they eat, and then you want to refer the patient to a facility to actually treat the anemia. At that point, the person needs the NHI card to access the specialist or the specialized care they need to treat the anemia. So that is why it's different. You need the NHI card. And I also indicated that we are having a drive where we are encouraging every Ghanaian to have the NHI card and then renew theirs. If it's dead, you make sure you renew it and then always have it handy. It's just that the free wouldn't necessarily need the NHI, but after the free, you need it to continue your care.
Perfect. Now, monitoring from the information that came out after the launch, it came out that I think we are starting with 150 districts, MMDs or so. So this presupposes that it's not nationwide yet. So let's start from the basics. So why the initial 150? What went into the selection of those 150? And what's the plan for for the rest of the country? Should the rest of the country forget about it and go about their normal duties, or they would also be covered sometime soon?
Okay, sure. So in every project that we undertake, everyone, even as individuals, you don't just start everything at once. You start in phases or in sessions, right? So that is the same thing that has been applied to this policy. We've done the first phase where we had initial 150 districts being rolled in, and then we are starting from those in the deprived communities, those who are outskirts of town, the farmers, those who they have maybe cheap compounds or health facilities. However, proximity becomes a challenge to them. That is why you saw that there's a lot of the tricycles that was donated, and then the opposition party were trying to make propaganda out of it. So the health workers themselves came out to say, yes, we actually need it, we appreciate it. So that is how it is. We want to make sure that the healthcare reaches our mothers and fathers or our people in the rural communities, in the outskirts of town, at their farms and their various locations. So instead of them to walk the distance or wait for transportation to come to them, they we actually were given bags with the right equipment embedded in them, and then the tricycles for them to move to meet these people at wherever they are. Most of the conditions we see even in our big cities are referrals from the rural communities, right? So we believe that when we begin the care from there and we begin more preventive action from there, we reduce the weight pressure or the number of clients that are being referred to the bigger cities for receiving care. And we have the phase two that would cover the remaining districts that we have left. And in Greater Accra, in as much as every meter or every 10 meters you see a hospital, we are still included. We are not left out. Places like our marketplace, places like Makola and those places, the ministry intends procuring kiosks for them where they can have their basic care right just a walking distance from them. Like I set an example, some of them might not feel well, would assume it is just stress. Proximity to the hospital would get them calculating the amount of money they'll lose if they should get up from whatever they are selling. So we are actually bringing the people to them to take these their basic vital signs. We have a data collation on it so that subsequently when it's checked again, we can always review and know the particular person we are dealing with. So definitely the whole country will be covered with time, right? But for now, we are starting in phases, which is very normal in any proper management setup. You start, then when you identify your flaws, your challenges, probably you've even under budgeted for whatever you want to do. When you identify them, you gain perfection before you move to other parts, and then in the entire country in the process. So definitely every Ghanaian is involved. It's for every Ghanaian, not just
So,
a group of Ghanaians.
so for my village chief and people, they should also wait. Their time will come.
Where is your village? Because we are doing 150 districts in the villages, not the cities. So if your village chiefs are in the village, definitely they'll be a part of the enjoyment from the initial stages.
Oh, okay, I'll find out. If they're not covered, I'll come back to you. But then,
You let us know.
yeah, but then, how do you call that? In the health system in Ghana, there are two problems that tend to plague the health that have plagued the health system for quite a long time. Aside the issue of access, we then have the issue of facilities not being ill equipped and not having the equipment to handle the situation they are supposed to deal with. And then we have the complementary problem of understaffed facilities or facilities that do not have the full complement of the staff that is needed to deliver on the services that they are expected to do. For this particular project, we heard about the distribution of some equipment, and you hinted on it sometime earlier. We also heard about the issue of tricycles and what have you. I don't know whether they are tricycle ambulances or whatever they've come to be called. How is the ministry taking care of this situation such that these old age problems, two hydra-headed problems of lack of equipment and lack of personnel are tackled so that they do not plague this novel and instrumental program moving forward?
Yes, so the line went off a little, but from what I get, if I'm correct, you want to find out how it's being tackled. Is
Yes.
that what?
So the two of them, equipment first of all, to ensure that we have the right equipment in place to be able to carry it out, and secondly, that we have the personnel in place to be able to deliver.
Yes. So, with regards to the personnel, so with the postings of doctors, for instance, we all heard how it became a news, and then I was sure during the period the Ghanaians were able to appreciate the struggle we go through as a health ministry. When you post doctors outside Accra or the cities, and then they decline the postings and they refuse to go. So we have taken very strange position on that as well, where if you do not want to be posted, then you would not be given a regular appointment, because some use in the past would decline the postings to where they are posted to, and then they are able to change it. But the ministry has a very good system now where the backdoor postings and everything has been halted. So you have to ensure that wherever you are posted to, you'll be able to go. So this method for doctors is the same applied as to other professionals. The recent posting that is going on, if you are applying towards the cities, the probability of getting it is very slim. The quota for the city is very, very scanty. Majority are outside Accra and then Kumasi. But we want to encourage them to go to the rural communities. Hence, when you go to the portal, when you choose somewhere outside the cities, and you choose somewhere in the rural communities, the probability for you getting it is much more easier. So these are some of the measures we've put in place. Whilst we work on incentives, because under the in our manifesto we indicated that health workers and teachers who go to rural communities would receive some form of incentives, and that is also in the pipeline, and then would be addressed in due time. So all these measures are in place to help with the skills, the human resource that is required to make sure that the free primary health program is being implemented in our communities. Also, with regards to the free primary healthcare, there's been a boost in logistics, purchase of logistics worth over the 30 million Ghana cedis to make sure that we enhance we retool most of the hospitals with the logistics that they need to run. And it's not just for the rural hospitals as well. There is going to be a massive retool which will be out very soon, and then we'll be able to empower all the hospitals. For instance, in recent times, before Kolebu could even talk about no bed, where there was a fake video about patients on the floor, the minister came to tell us about the purchase of over 200 beds already before that even started. So there's ongoing process to restore the health sector to make sure we have the logistics and we have the skill. And there's also training of specialists. We are boosting the training of specialists required to render the care that we need. Even the Ghana Medical Trust Fund has started programs like that where they sponsor some people to learn some specialized skill, and then they'll be able to deliver care that they need adequately. So, in that view, a lot of programs are being rolled out to ensure that it's successful.
Well,
Yes.
yeah, final question for this segment of the show before we go on break. Now, another challenge of the National Health Insurance Scheme is the complaint by patients or would-be patients that they visit health facilities and then they are prescribed drugs, and when they go for the drug they see they are not there, they have to go somewhere and go and buy, or they go and they see that this particular one is not covered in the health insurance, so we don't have it, you have to go somewhere else to go and buy it. How is this program designed differently so that we can overcome such bottlenecks?
I didn't get. You said how is the program?
How is
Which
this
one?
this particular program of free primary health care, the program, how is it designed
Yes.
differently so that we don't it doesn't also go into the same problems that patients have about drugs, where they go and they say the drugs are not there, or that it's not covered under this particular program?
Yeah, so for free primary health care, we would not be giving drugs under the free primary health care.
Mm,
Like, however, most of the things that we are doing use of equipment, right? Like the BP
okay.
machines, the glucometer, and all that. So definitely, it's a system that is well structured, and then continuous monitoring will be going on, because this is not something that the patient will need to buy anything or would say we don't have. The important thing is that we have the machines we need to check. Okay, if I
Mhm.
have to counsel you, I wouldn't really need anything. I can cancel you from anywhere I am. You get it. All I need is my voice, unless you take my voice or you take so my voice, if I have a flip chart, I'm using the same flip chart for basically every patient. If I say flip chart, you get what I mean.
Mhm.
Everybody is using the same flip chart, unless, of course, a patient still sits or a nurse or a doctor decides to take it away from where it is. So the things that we need for free primary health care is not something that will be taken away by anybody. It is something that is present. It's something that will be kept. So if you, at the end of the day, you have a machine and you finish using it and you pack it somewhere nicely, you wouldn't have to always buy a new one. So for free primary healthcare, it's different from NHI, where NHI is talking about the treatment of whatever has been identified after diagnosis. Let me say that way. After diagnosis, or let's say just before diagnosis, just before. That is the NHI. But free primary healthcare, you wouldn't need much for yourself apart from your Ghana card. The equipment we need, we just have to make sure there's continuous monitoring and maintenance so that it doesn't break down and then you now wait for it to be gotten back. So at this point, everybody and every facility, every district involved in this free primary healthcare. So since everyone is involved, monitoring is going to be ongoing, because we wouldn't want a situation whereby it breaks down and then we are all stranded at a point. So this is quite different from the NHI. So those kind of challenges are not likely to be faced, at least in the early stages.
Well, well said. And thanks for your responses so far. So at this point, we take a short break, allow you to take a sip of water. We'll return and then take some comments from our viewers and listeners. Then we'll conclude the show. So if you are listening
Okay.
to us or wherever you are watching us, this is my view show here live on Today Ghana News TV. And this evening we are discussing Ghana's free primary healthcare program that was launched sometime last week. And we've been fortunate to be joined by Miss Harriet Hammond, who is the focal person for the program, and she's been trying to keep us up to date on the program and the events thereof. So go nowhere. We'll take a short break. We'll return, take some messages from our viewers, and then we'll conclude the show.
Welcome to Beyond Makeup, where beauty and confidence are taken to a whole new level. Here, we pamper and take care of you like royalty. Enjoy our gentle waxing, refreshing facials, and soothing massages that melt away stress and leave your skin glowing. We also offer professional makeup services, manicures, pedicures, durable nail extensions, and perfectly sculpted ombre brows. We give you the most perfect soft lashes that highlight your natural beauty. At Beyond Makeup, every visit is more than just a service. It's an experience of care, elegance, and transformation. Locate us at Chado Last Stop or call us on 0559 933 505 or 0506 474 911. Follow us on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. Beyond Makeup, your journey to wellness starts here.
Oh, say yay! The African Arts, Food, Music and Culture Festival, Armenia 2026. Society, Yapa Huntim of Francis Consuls, Eto Esa Afro Esbitesa, Ewa Ghana, any Africa, Sabe showcase creativity, Ewa global stage, so we artists, fashion designer, chef, musician, Anna Empo, cultural entrepreneur, any woman, so what the African young creativity, every the global stage, Ewa Europe, ya boy ya pomo atuho, ya show registration I say, and it's 2% participating, and now on getting more information there, any other contact in Ewa Humachu so +374 558 508 11 and +233 542 545 815. Following our Facebook, Ope and Sembisa Ana Bibi Piata Efaye Hon. Ubetimi I email and so ewo African Cultural Festival 2018 at gmail.com. African Arts, Food, Music and Culture Festival, Armenia 2026, made of way. Africa on display, culture without borders. Yeah, that was it.
Well, welcome back to my view show here live on Today Ghana News TV, where this evening we are taking a deep dive into Ghana's free primary healthcare program that was launched sometime last week. And we have had the privilege of being joined by the focal person for the program. So let's take some comments from our viewers and listeners who have made time to join us for this evening. Zaydeen Luke, I think. You say hello. Hello to you as well. Hope you are doing well. Jaden Luke, Jaden Luke, I think probably. Jaframa TV. You see, I'm watching from Rara in OT region. Rara in OT region. I am enjoying the education. Mahama, you do all. Thank you very much, Frama TV, for doing the watching all the way from OT region. Kweku Ivu, you see, good evening. You are watching from Suhum in the eastern region. I have seen some of the Abubuya in our community. The government is really doing well. Thank you very much, Kweku Ivu, for joining us. And this is good testimony from the ground. We are grateful for your feedback. NDC Diaspora Union, you see, Miss Hammond is very beautiful, hardworking and intelligent, working day and night for our great party. Thank you very much, NDC Diaspora Union. You are back again. You say you are watching from Amsterdam, Holland. Thank you very much for making time to join us this evening for the show. The next we have Asempa Hene Boachi. You say, wow, I'm very proud and impressed by her delivery. Madam, you do all. Thank you very much, Asempa Hene Boachi, for your comment. And you are back again. You say you're watching and listening from Achin Himai. Thank you very much, Asempa Hene, for joining us. Mavis Boateng, you see, you are watching with a family from Lisbon, Portugal. The explanation is very clear and simple. Miss Harriet, you and you and Obu, maybe probably you want to say Obu or something, I'm not sure. But right, thank you very much. Frimpong Bafi, you say, wow, Albert, where did you get this lady? She is very good. You are watching from Akusenia Somenya. Well, I didn't get her. She's always been around. Sekapa family. Good evening. Watching on YouTube from Jumapu Nyakofridia. Please kindly ask her if I need a health insurance card to access the free primary health care. I think she might have answered that, but well, it doesn't harm to always re-emphasize. Lady Mal _2 say, good evening. You are watching on Twitch from St. Petersburg, Russia. Kindly ask her if foreigners resident in Ghana can also access the program, the free, can access the primary healthcare. Good. I would put that to her when she joins us. Jibodi Ifua, you see, I'm watching from Sunyani. Please, the health givers fully employed of fully employees of Ghana Health Service. Okay, I'll ask it. Right. Nanette from, you see, good evening from totally northern Ghana. Ghanaians are very grateful to President John Mahama and the NDC government. Thank you very much, Nanette From, for joining us, and greetings to the people of Tatali as well. Dennis, you say, good evening. I am doing the monitoring from Upper West Wa Fantastic Show. Thank you very much, Dennis, for doing the monitoring all the way from Upper West. We hope to have you soon on the show. Robert Kimpi, you see, the primary healthcare program is very innovative and community-based. Kudos to the government. You are watching from Paris, France. Thank you very much, Robert Kimpi, for joining us. Margaret Houston, you see, the system is working. Watching from Pandu in the Volta region. Wonderful show. I'm really enjoying the show. This is what government communicators should be doing. Thank you very much, Margaret, for your kind words. We are grateful to you for watching. Frimoyi, you see, you are watching from Mamfi near Ho, Volta region. Thank you very much, Frima, for joining us. And for all our viewers on all our platforms who have made time to join us, for those who are joining us on Sakina Information Center in Tatali, we are grateful to you. Those who are joining us from Adelemai Information Center, we are grateful to you as well. And we say thank you to our listeners who are joining us from High FMNet 3.7 at Human Eastern region. Also, we thank our listeners on the King's Radio in Accra. And for all those who are joining us on all social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and whatever medium you're joining us from, thank you for joining us this evening. Now, let's welcome Miss Hammond back. Time is fast spent. Let's do a quick fire, and then we will bring the show to an end. Miss Harry, our viewers and listeners seem to be enjoying you quite a lot, and
Thank you.
they have a few questions for you. So let's take a few of the questions. I think Lady Mal wanted to know for foreigners who are living in Ghana, can they also enjoy the program?
Yes, so you just have to have proof that you are a citizen. So the
Okay,
program is for Ghanaians,
okay,
right? That is why we need a Ghana card. If the foreigner has a Ghana card and has a proof that it's a citizen by any nature, that's fine, and I'm sure the person should be able to access it.
okay, okay. I think that answers the question of Sekapa family. You wanted to know whether somebody needs a health insurance card in order to access the program. So I think that answers your question as well.
Yes.
Um, all right, yeah. So I think the question is the answer is that yes, you do.
No, for the free primary healthcare, you don't necessarily need to have the NHI card,
Okay.
but you should have the Ghana card. You know, there are two different cards,
Mm-hmm.
right? The Ghana card is different from the NHI card. So the Ghana card is to show proof that you are a Ghanaian citizen.
Okay.
Aha,
Okay.
but if you are a Ghanaian and then you do not even have the NHI card, you can access the free primary healthcare. Okay. However, we are still encouraging every Ghanaian to have the National Health Insurance card. And this is because after free primary health care, you would have to, or most of the time, or sometimes, if you need to migrate to receiving full care, you will need your National Health Insurance card to receive the full care. Without the Health Insurance card, diagnosis might not be very possible, and post diagnosis treatment might not be very possible unless you have the NHI card.
All right. Okay. Right. I think all right. We probably have answered all the questions from the viewers. Let's go to our final quick fire questions, then we can bring the show to an end. Now, funding have always been of some concern, some substantial for a program of this nature. What is the assurance of the long-term sustainability of a program of this nature, considering its width and its importance?
Yes, so for funding, we are taking some from the NHI, from SNIT, and then the government is allocating some funding to the program, right? And then sometimes questions are raised about the National Health Insurance Authority, why we should take funding from them. Keep saying that this program is just like plus one minus one. Okay, we need to work more on preventive than curing. NHI basically focuses on curing. So, what is actually wrong in taking a portion of that money to prevent people from actually coming to access the treatment or coming to your facilities with complications? So, NHI has a percentage of funding allocated for the preventive care, which is the free primary health care. Is centered on prevention, right? And then I know people would say, oh, NHI, that they always have issues and all that. Under the NDC government, we have cleared every debt we came to meet under the previous government. And this we did even last year as at July. Okay. When the NDC came in April 2025, they paid an amount of 834 million. And then in July, they paid an amount of 267.67 million Ghana cedis. And they cleared most of the debts that have been incurred by the previous government. So you see that now even the NHIA has become so powerful that most of the logistics that we are purchasing and everything is coming from the NHIA. And this NHIA funding is tax from our Ghanaian communities. So taking part of it now for preventive care is actually what we are just doing to make sure that you don't get diagnosed, you come back to the system for full treatment. So the funding would be reliable, and then allocations into it because the government is interested in boosting and then encouraging the health system to thrive better this time around. So there are a lot of allocations that will come into it to make sure that every Ghanaian would be living a more preventive lifestyle than reactive lifestyle or looking for management after a complication has occurred. So that is basically what is happening now.
All right. My final substantive question to you. A year from now, if we invite you to the show and you decide to and you show up because the show probably or your program has been successful, what would success look like if this program is successful to you a year from now? And if you like, you can flip the coin and look at it from the other side. What will failure look like if the program is not successful?
Yes, so using my personal point of view, okay, as a practitioner and as Harriet myself, success will look like a more preventive and healthier environment where we get a lot of young people living healthier lifestyle, where a healthy lifestyle become a norm around us. One, and also reduction in sudden death. Today we have so many sudden death all around us. And people say, oh, she didn't complain or she didn't talk about anything. But they actually complained of a headache you didn't pay attention to.
They are
Do
now
you
not a
get it?
shock.
Yes, and they say, oh, she didn't complain. But the person actually complained about a headache. But you thought, oh, why have you taken para? And para is becoming like chewing gum or
Mm.
toffee. Do you get it? So I'll be happy to see an environment where we would not see under 40 going down with strokes anymore. Because now the incidence of under 40 going down with strokes has become way higher than those above 40. And then those below 40 getting the strokes is more complicated than those who are above 40. So I'll be happier when I'm able to see those statistics go down, okay? And seeing that patients going through diabetes, the numbers have reduced, right? Renal conditions have reduced. Sometimes people think renal conditions is just all about something bad you have eaten, but even your blood pressure affects your renal system. So when we have a system where I see renal conditions reducing and even abuse of basic medication, you see, we have some medication in this country that are abused. People prescribe to each other, and all this can be reduced by simple communication because they don't know. They don't know. They don't have easy access to a health practitioner. Yes, there was a question that was asked. I think I'm here to. He said, "Are the providers going to be professionals under Ghana Health Service?" I think I read a question like that.
Yes, yes, that's true.
Yes. So we would be doing onboarding. You see, now we have a lot of inflow of nurses and then professionals waiting for postings, looking for employment and all that. Sometimes people feel, why don't you just employ everyone? But we forget that we are talking about budgets, okay, budgeting of a nation. Every ministry has its budgetary allocation for employment. So we can't just clamp everybody in. So you have to take it step by step every year and the budget allocation that will be given to them. So once we are working on, for instance, the postings we are doing now, our backlog we came to meet from 2021. We are in 2026. We are now working on those in 2021. So those in 2022, 3, 4, 5 are still going to be idle, right? Waiting. So we will be engaging them, bringing them on board to assist with the free primary health program because we need many hands as we can get. So those who are waiting for postings will be the ones who will be brought on board to assist. Okay, some can come in as volunteers. Some will come in as volunteers because they wouldn't want to stay home and become idle. And the president has stated that those who will come in to support the free primary health programs, if there's time to enroll, definitely they will be the ones who will be considered first. And I tell a lot of young people that volunteerism might look like punishment until you see the network you can build from it, right? So when you volunteer and you continue to build your skill, there could be someone who would identify you through your volunteerism and say, oh, this person is very good. I don't mind. Let's working with this person. And then recommendations come here and there. So people who volunteer to become free primary health care providers and people who are engaged, like enrolled into the program, during the free primary healthcare have the higher probability of being posted or given permanent employment when it is their time for them to be employed. So that is the caliber of people we are using, not just everybody, but professionals who have gone through a health training institution and has completed with a certificate and their PIN, because we'll be held responsible for any error that occurs in the process.
Wonderful. All right. I initially said that was my last question, but just this final one. So before we let you go, what would be your message to Ghanaians or the ordinary Ghanaian who thinks that healthcare is out of reach for them and that they are unable to, they are unable to or would be unable to access health service? What would be your message to such a person?
Well, for a Ghanaian who would say healthcare, I could pardon those who are probably living in the very, very rural communities and will have to walk a distance to the cheap compounds. But I wouldn't really pardon those in the township that have closer access to the healthcare center. So I would say that hope is here. Hope is here. Now we are actually bringing healthcare closer to you than you can imagine. All we need is your continuous support and availability. Not that when they get to you in your house, you say, "Oh, I'm pounding my fufu. You let me finish first." And then the person is waiting, and then no, we are actually coming to you. And then when you see the free primary healthcare providers around you, be ready to receive them. If you haven't encountered them before, you can also reach out to them, alert them that, oh, we are here. I made an example the last time that if you go to the rural communities to work on any project or something about education, when you get to a house and you meet 2 or 3 people, that's a typical rural community, and you begin to speak to them, naturally, by the time you finish, you might have 10 people standing there because they want to listen to what you are saying. And if you are able to impact knowledge to those 2 or 3 you began with, in the long run, depending on the caliber of people you dealt with, especially if you were able to get their mothers, okay, or the heads of that family, you are indirectly impacting the entire family. And then everybody becomes enlightened in a certain way on what you came to discuss. So I'll tell them that, look, things are getting better. Okay, we can't build all the hospitals immediately. However, whilst we work on that, we are reaching out to you in ways is best or in the best way we can. That is why you see the tricycles, and then you see the motorbikes and any other thing that we use to move. Very soon you see the kiosks. Okay, you walk in the market and you see a kiosk there, you be like, let me just enter and check something of mine because after all, it's free. Okay, with time, every Ghanaian would have their vital signs checked, and then accessing healthcare wouldn't be something they have to wake up in the morning and think about. They wouldn't be worried because they know that along the way, the free primary healthcare providers might either meet them on the way or they will meet the providers on the way. One of them. But healthcare is going to become across board, and the universal health coverage that is required by the World Health Organization will be achieved in no time. Okay, for now we haven't achieved. We've achieved just about 56%, and then we know that within the next 2 years we should be able to achieve at least 90%, and then we know that we are getting there.
Well, before we let you go, there some messages came for you. We have Margaret is back. She said, "God bless you, madam. This is a great show." Then Robert Kimpi returned. He said, "This is a wonderful show." Frimpong Bafi says, "The program will surely succeed, and Mahama will be able to make Ghanaians happy and healthy." Then Asempa Hineboachi comes back to say, we should please invite you again. That they should make you the spokesperson for the minister.
Please let the recommendation reach the minister well.
All right. Okay. I think Kwaku Ibu says, Ghana is fast developing under the able leadership of the President John Dramani Mahama and the NDC. Then we have Jibodi, who comes back to say, Madam, you do all a zoo.
Thank you.
Then, Margaret returns to say NDC can develop, only NDC can develop Ghana. NDC never again. MPP never again, please. I think it's a good time to end the show. So Ms. Harriet,
Okay, thank you.
We are grateful to you for making time to join us on the show this evening. We are thankful to you on behalf of my listeners and viewers who made time to join us this evening. We are thankful to you for all the knowledge and information that you have given us, and for educating us and for pointing us in the right directions. We are most grateful to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you too. Thank you too. All right. Bye.
All right. So then, enjoy the rest of your day. And to all our viewers and listeners who made time to join us, we are grateful to you that you made time to join us. And once again, we are thankful to our viewers and listeners who joined us from Sakina Information Center in Tetali. Also, we are grateful to our listeners who joined us on Adelima Information Center, and to those who join us on High FM 3.7 at Chinyuma Distinct Region. Also for those who join us on the King's Radio, and for all those who join us on all social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and on all social media platforms. We are grateful to you for making time to join us this evening. Don't forget to join us next week again as we make time to bring you yet another exciting show. Until we come your way again next week, stay blessed, stay safe. God bless you. God bless our homeland, Ghana. Good evening to you.
One key aspect of the free primary health care is preventive, to identify the illness and get early treatment before it develops into something else. And so a major part of the free primary health care is the health screening aspect. And we are encouraging that when we roll out the free primary health care, our traditional leaders and our religious leaders will help us to mobilize their communities. At least every Ghanaian must be screened once a year. The free primary health care complements the national health insurance. And so at that level, it's free of charge. You go, the screening, everything is free of charge.